Hi everyone, thanks for clicking on this video today. Today I want to discuss the economy. I'm always intrigued by the economy and politics, and the reason I'm always intrigued is because we live in a society where we're told we're free, we're told we have all the luxuries, we're very privileged, etc. And by the same token, we live in a first world country, a developed country, and we have homelessness, we have food banks increasing, we have literally any high street you walk down, you'll see tons and tons of homeless people. And it's something that really gets me irate, because being in a first world country and being a developed country, and with the capital this country has, I mean, we're number 5th or I think 7th, let's say top 10 of the whole world. There's 200 countries in the world, and we're in a situation where we literally have people sleeping outside. We have an economy and a situation where millions are struggling, and that's professionals. So this is not somebody sat, because we always have a stigma against people sat on benefits, sat at home for whatever reason, and it's unjustified. And there's certain people in society which take advantage of that, and I want to discuss that in a little bit more detail today. And the reason it disappoints me significantly is because people in this country, I'm shocked at how naive and how it seems like we just have something over our eyes. We don't see the truth, the reality. You know, they throw us a bone and we grasp at the bone and we forget the bigger picture. And a perfect example of that is recently, right? We know costs have gone through the roof. Inflation is through the roof. And it's been like trying to pull out teeth with this government, trying to get any help whatsoever. And the help they've given, which is recently, I've not been following it properly, but the news that's come through, they've given each household roughly in the region of £1,000 to help with the cost, which is just ridiculous, but it is what it is. And last year they took, I think, £20 a week off universal credit, which equates to about £1,000. So essentially they took with one hand and gave with the other. It balances the books. And we're in a society where we have people leading us, and it's not just the Conservatives, it's not just this political party is worse and there's someone better out there. Unfortunately, there is no one better out there. That's the sad situation we as a country are in. And like I said, it really disappoints me, because there's a lot of people in this country that work hard. They do try, but I think the time of working hard now and getting out of poverty, I personally believe has gone. I think if I go back, obviously my parents and immigrants came to this country, and although there is in certain societies a stigma of immigrants, people seem to have short memories and forget the sacrifices and the commitment they made to this country when they came across. This country was a ruin. It was in disarray after the World War, and many immigrants came over and actually built this country, built the foundations again for this country. Or if it did have the foundations, they built the country to what it is to a certain degree today, in terms of the economy and the capital that's coming over the last 6, 7 decades, 8 decades. And it's often neglected, and it's often seen as if immigrants are a burden, which is a wrong way to think about it. Because if you look throughout the NHS, you look throughout many public sectors, you'll see all people of all different kinds and colours, and they've contributed, and they still contribute every single day via taxes, via their work, via their expertise, their skill sets, and they will continue to do so. And if you want to always develop in the world and get better, I believe you always need people from all over the world with different skills, different abilities, to improve your country at the end of the day. I think the sad reality we are currently in is that the leadership, the government, don't really care about the people, in my opinion. If they did, we won't be in the situation we're in. Like I said, first world country, we're in an absolute mess. And that's across the globe. So something's fundamentally wrong, in the sense, what is money? Money is simply paper. It's simply printed when it wants to be printed. Now, we printed it, or we The government bailed the banks out, for example, in 2008 when they could. So when the government wants to intervene, it can do. Now, obviously, COVID came along and they distributed furlough money. I thought it was fantastic for them to do that, because ultimately it wasn't our fault that we can't go to work or we're getting stopped. So that's what the government is there for. The government is there to help its citizens, to help its people, to protect its people. To, this illusion we have, sadly, a lot of the population have, is when the government is doing something and it's like a favour. I'm sorry, they're not doing us a favour. That's their job. If I want to be a doctor, I'm going to be a doctor, and my intention is to help people. And when they come to me and they explain their symptoms and whatnot, I need to tell them and give them a diagnosis and treat them. It's not a case of, well, you've come to me, I'm doing you a favour. No, I've took that position. I've took that position to be a doctor, and therefore it's my duty, it's my obligation, it's my job essentially to treat you if I can, or with my knowledge or whatever belief I have. Now, the government, sadly, is, I think, one of the worst culprits in the world, because, and not just this government, many governments across the world, and it's all under this facade of freedom. We have democracy. It's made up to be this thing where we're so much better than the rest, when in reality we really aren't. And it annoys me and it gets me quite upset, because we should not be in this situation. Someone in a third world country who have their reasons, and we'll discuss that probably in another video. But in this society, in this current circumstances where money can be printed, they can give money to who they want. They can take money from who they want. But because they don't really have much affiliation and much love for their society, they're not going to do that. These people haven't got a clue what it is, how hard it is for someone to get out of a situation. They have no clue, because they've never been there. No matter how much they say, it's lip service when I hear them say, things like, oh, we understand. You don't understand. You have no clue. You've been raised with a silver spoon. You've gone to the best universities and colleges, Eton College, and you all come out the same. You hang around, you enjoy your little youthhood, you spend your mum and dad's money, and then you come into power and you literally it's just a toy for you. It's just to get reputation. It's just a stock place for you to get that power, get the reputation. Then you'll disappear somewhere else in a private sector and unlock some money afterwards because of your influence. And even while you're in power, we've seen it. Sadly, COVID, contracts left, right, centre, their friends, companies that didn't even exist have been getting contracts. It's so much corruption. But unfortunately, we don't class it as corruption because we believe we're a democracy and we don't have no corruption. And it's sad to see that. And it's something that, unfortunately, we just take it lying down. The people in this country have sadly not got the bottle to actually fight back with the government, or at least raise serious questions as a whole. Governments have always divided people, and it's unfortunate people fall for it. And they fall for whether it's colour, whether it's this person's a left, this person's a right, this person's this. He's got these views, he's a liberal, he's a whatever. There's so many sects, I lose count. In my eyes, we're all one. And we have to stand up for ourselves. Many. I mean, the contradictions are so obvious and they hit you in the face that it's extremely disappointing. Because, you look at what they've done to small businesses and what they've done to medium-sized businesses. They make it so difficult. As I mentioned before, when immigrants came to this country, there was one criteria you had to have to make a success in this country for yourself: work hard. That's it. You didn't have to barely even speak the language. You could, you didn't have no real skills, just labour. But if you worked hard, you were rewarded. Now you can work 20 hours a day. It doesn't mean you're going to get rewarded. And that's the difference in this generation and the generation I feel before, where now hard work is not sufficient enough. You can work as hard as you like. If things just don't fall in place for you, you'll be at the bottom week by week trying to get by. And that's the difference I feel when I see the previous generation, my mother and father's generation, and our generation now. And God help us what it's going to be like for our children. So I really do think this country needs to wake up. This country needs to get together and hold these people to account. I mean, they're having parties in COVID. And when they're telling family members you can't go and see people who've just passed away, your own family, you can't go and bury them. I mean, and they're having parties and wine glasses and all the rest of it. I mean, and people are just accepting it. How, I have no idea. It's just, it baffles me. It baffles me. Sadly, people are just too scared. I don't know what it is. You know, they just gone mute. I can appreciate the new generation perhaps is a bit more mute because they're not so used to socializing, and you know they're just in their phones, and they just don't have that conversation space to a certain degree. Whereas the older generation, they've gone mute, and it's disappointing because you know you're ruining future generations, and everyone has a right to be fed, be looked after, and all these things. We pay so much tax to the government. We pay like almost 50 to 70% in tax, whether it's direct or indirect. That's astronomical. And we have the NHS who, yeah, they do a great service, but would you pay for that service? Probably not, because it's way below the standard it should be. But that we've allowed that, and we've just accepted that. And that can't be right. That shouldn't be right. That shouldn't be accepted. And I think we, as a society, I hope things change. I hope something happens whereby people just get a bit of respect. They get to earn and actually enjoy a bit of life. And hard work. You know, the people are not afraid to work. But if you don't get if you can't get a house, if you can't buy a car, if you can't buy something, I mean, people can't buy houses. People, you know, both partners are working and they can't afford a house. I mean, that's just crazy. You know, when there's people in the home working and they can't afford to buy a house. I mean, I just don't even know. I don't know what to think. But anyway, yeah, I hope to do other videos in relation to this, and you know, I hope, you know, I'd love to hear your comments. You know, am I wrong? Am I being, you know, am I just, I don't know, am I just clueless? The things I've just said there, have they made a bit of sense? I don't know. Guys, please comment, subscribe. If you want to, please subscribe to the channel, like it. It'll help me a lot, because ultimately I want this channel just to benefit people. With my input, like I said, my channel's gonna be fitness, lifestyle, politics, religion, whatever. I'm happy to discuss. And some things I'm more passionate than others, and I'd love for people to, you know, comment and tell me I'm wrong. Please, respectfully. Look, we need to be respectful. Sadly, on the internet, there's just too much hate. I just don't understand it. Be respectful with each other, even if you disagree. Say in a polite way. I disagree. This is why I disagree. No problem. You know, there's obviously people out there who just have a vindictive and a hatred in their heart. You can't do nothing about them. That's just the way they are. They'll change if they want to change by some luck. But the majority of people are reasonable, and yeah, of course, we all have different ideas, different opinions, and all the rest of it. But, you know, and that's why we should engage. That's why we should talk, and that's why we should be open, and we should try and make each other's lives better. So, yeah, please do hit the subscribe button and like the video, and I'll be coming back with more videos with, you know, discussing about a lot more topics, and that's the only way we'll be keep in touch. Hit the bell button as well, be notified, and yeah, speak to you soon, guys. Thanks for tuning in.